The 9 to 5 corporate job is a tradition as beloved as it is begrudged, like stale office coffee, or those motivational posters that insist we're part of a team. For decades, the corporate grind has kept us dutifully plodding from Monday to Friday, shuffling through endless emails and back-to-back meetings, all in pursuit of the sacred paycheck. But here's a thought that's becoming harder to ignore. Could the 9 to 5 really be sustainable in the future? Or is it, in fact, just one grand, outdated relic waiting to finally be phased out? Welcome to the Disenchanted, where we question everything, especially the status quo. This channel is all about honest engagement. We encourage critical thinking. We will not be conformed to social constructs, societal narratives, and toxic positivity. There are no rose-colored glasses here. Please do share your thoughts and opinions below, and like and subscribe. Let's consider the typical workday. This carefully carved out slice of life that demands we be in one place at one time every single day. It's a model born out of the Industrial Revolution, an era when machines didn't need sleep and factories thrived on predictable human cogs. But in a digital age, where we're supposedly more connected than ever, the idea of everyone hustling to the office at the same time, only to stare at screens for 8 hours, feels oddly archaic. After all, most of us are just as productive, if not more so, working from the couch, a coffee shop, or even the kitchen counter. And we're starting to ask, if we can do the work from anywhere, why chain ourselves to one desk in one office in one big block of time? Then there's the little issue of burnout. The 9 to 5 is an endurance test disguised as a routine. We're told to pace ourselves, to practice self-care, to find the mythical work-life balance, all so we can tolerate a system that insists on squeezing 40 hours, if not more, from us each week. But after a global pandemic, people have realized that maybe, just maybe, they'd rather spend their lives a bit differently. When given a taste of flexible schedules and work-from-home perks, many found the 9 to 5 suddenly felt like squeezing back into pants 2 sizes too small. It no longer fits. And here's the kicker. Younger generations just aren't buying into it. Gen Z, that generation that grew up with smartphones and tech-savvy rebellion, has started asking uncomfortable questions. They want purpose and flexibility, and the classic corporate pitch of steady job, steady paycheck just doesn't have the same appeal it once did. This generation is not impressed by cubicles and coffee machines. They want freedom to work on their own terms, preferably without spending most of their lives in a cubicle under fluorescent lights. Work smarter, not harder isn't just a catchphrase for them. It's a lifestyle. Of course, no discussion of the 9 to 5 would be complete without touching on the delightful phenomenon of office politics, a quiet, often unspoken game that most of us play but rarely acknowledge. Navigating the unwritten rules of the office, dealing with clashing personalities, and deciphering hidden agendas can feel like a full-time job in itself. And while some see it as a necessary skill, for many, office politics is a constant drain on mental well-being. The stress of managing workplace relationships, knowing when to speak up or stay silent, and feeling the pressure to play nice with colleagues and superiors alike creates a subtle but constant tension. In a world that increasingly values mental health and work-life balance, the toll of office politics on our well-being is becoming harder to ignore. Perhaps it's yet another reason why the traditional 9 to 5 structure feels increasingly unsustainable. It asks us not only to work, but to perform every day, leaving many of us emotionally drained by the time we log off. But the real nail in the coffin might just be technology itself. With AI, automation, and digital tools that can handle so much of the mundane workload, the future may simply not need the 9 to 5 human army it once did. As machines take on more of our repetitive tasks, it begs the question, what's left for us to do? Instead of trudging through 40 hours of meetings and spreadsheets, we might find ourselves working shorter, more flexible hours, using our energy for creative or strategic tasks that tech can't replicate. And frankly, we might start to wonder why we were ever asked to sit at a desk for 40 hours a week to begin with. As more people wake up to the reality that the 9 to 5 grind isn't as necessary or sustainable as we've been led to believe, the cracks in this model are widening. Future generations may look back on the 9 to 5 as a curious historical artifact, a strange and slightly baffling thing their ancestors did out of routine, not out of necessity. Perhaps the real future of work will finally give us permission to do what so many of us have quietly dreamed of, living a life where work serves us, not the other way around. After all, we were told to work to live, not live to work, so maybe it's about time the 9 to 5 clocked out for good. As the cracks in the 9 to 5 model continue to grow, we might be on the brink of something radically different. The future of work could be a life where we're not bound to desks or rigid schedules, but instead find balance and fulfillment on our own terms. Maybe rather than clinging to an outdated model, we'll finally embrace a world where productivity doesn't mean exhaustion, where success isn't measured by hours clocked, and where our time is valued beyond mere efficiency. The 9 to 5 may have served its purpose, but it's time to let it retire gracefully, and for us to redefine work in a way that actually works. Until we meet again, question everything you've been told and embrace the disenchanted truth.